Hi guys, I just want to chat with you about a few quick tips for cover letter writing. Um, a cover letter is a great way to help showcase your skills when you apply for a job, and especially your soft skills, which don't always come across in a resume. The soft skills are things like your ability to teamwork, your communication skills, your responsibility, your drive, your work ethic, and things like that. And you can list those in a resume, but in a cover letter, because you have time to expand and offer details, you can really show the employer how these skills operate. And the other great things about a cover letter is it gives you a chance to explain anything that you need to about the story of yourself as a candidate. If there's a gap in time on your resume that you'd like to tell them about, that can be discussed in the cover letter. If you are either overqualified or underqualified for the position, it's real easy for a hiring manager to just dismiss you. But the cover letter gives you a chance to say, hey, I know I'm overqualified, but I still really want this job. Or I know that I'm underqualified, but I still think I'd be a great fit because dot, dot, dot. So, really, it's a great idea to utilize a cover letter. More and more, I see job postings not asking for cover letters, but if you possibly can find a way to include one, it is just another step that helps you stand out. And if they ask for it as something optional you can include, I always encourage people to add a cover letter. A few things to keep in mind is that you want the tone to be kind of professional, but also conversational and friendly. So think about like you're writing to a colleague that you have a warm relationship with, not somebody that you socialize with outside of work, but somebody that you get along with well at work. So you want the hiring manager to read the letter and think, oh, this would be a nice person to work with. I would enjoy spending 8 hours a day, 5 days a week with them, assuming they do hire you. And you also want a chance to highlight your best skills. So you're going to pick a few things that demonstrate the skills that you want to show off. So, say you want to show off that you have great attention to detail, you might pick a project that you spent a lot of time working on and really utilize your attention to detail. And you're going to explain that I put together a project that was this report that was, over 1,000 pages, and I had to get it reviewed by 5 stakeholders at the company and then incorporate all of their edits accurately and get it signed off by them. And then, whatever you had to do that utilized your attention to detail, and you're going to actually explain in a couple of sentences how you took advantage of your strengths in that sense. So it's more elaborate than what you would put in the resume, where you might just say, like, used attention to detail to put together 1,000-page report that helped us reaffirm our assessment with this organization successfully, right? You're going to actually explain how you did it. So the cover letter gives you a chance to give more details and really show how you use these skills. If you want to talk about your communication skills, you're not going to just say, I have great communication skills. You're going to say, I lead this many meetings a month, or I speak at this organization regularly in front of this many people, and I get great feedback, or my reviews, if you get evaluated, my evaluations are this number out of this number. So anything you can do that really gives a concrete example. I always recommend people just like get to the point in the cover letter. So you do want your cover letter itself to sound unique and tailored to the employer, tailored to you as a person, but you don't have to agonize over the opening line. When I write a cover letter, I just start with, I'm writing to apply for this position, or I'm writing to express my interest in this opening. You'll see other people talking about cover letters will recommend you write a catchy opening line. So I guess just play around with whatever feels right to you. And then usually when you're writing cover letters, you're doing a bunch of job applications. You want to be careful not to make your letter sound like a template where you're just using the same letter and putting, this company at the top and this sign off for this company. So one thing that I will use is I'll have different sections of the letter, like different paragraphs. So this is the paragraph about my communication skills. This is the paragraph about my writing. This is the paragraph about me and teamwork. And I'll have a running Word document with, maybe like 10 or 12 paragraphs that highlight my different skills. And so I can just copy and paste which skill I want for this particular job set, particular job application. So maybe I want to highlight these 3 things. And maybe I need the paragraph that talks about my career path and why it might seem a little unorthodox. Pop that in there. And then all you have to do for each post is write a unique intro and then maybe a unique paragraph that tells you why you're interested in that job and that company. A great resource on cover letters is the blog Ask a Manager that Allison Green writes. I think that gives really good detailed instruction and explains why she recommends the tips that she recommends. So if you want to look further into information on how to write a cover letter, and then her blog posts always have examples from actual people who are reaching out, and she'll give you tips and show you examples of ones that were good and then how they were revised. So that's a great resource if you want to dig into this deeper. And I think that's it. So those are my basic tips on writing a cover letter. And really try not to overthink it. It should take you about an hour to write a good cover letter. So make sure you're thinking about it and really spending that hour. But if you're spending a whole day on a single cover letter, try to streamline it and find ways to detach yourself a little bit from the process. Okay, thanks guys. Have a good day.